All right, as you can see, we kind of got started laying the foam down. I had a night this week. I didn't really have much to do, so I had the foam out here. So I just wanted to see how it was gonna go. So we've got it going down. I still got this area here, it's 20 by 50 that I've got down so far. And I've got this area over here, that 50 by 80, I guess you'd say, to do yet. This area here, we're gonna do this concrete pour in stages, mainly because I'm doing it myself. I can't really afford to hire someone. It was an ungodly amount of money to have someone come in and pour and finish this. I've done quite a bit of concrete work in the past. My only hang up is getting the help out here that knows what they're doing. I might have to hire a couple friends I know who are union laborers that pour it, but it beats paying, I think it was like $60,000 to have this floor prepped and poured, so that's why we're going to be doing it ourselves. We got a plan there. But today we're getting the foam down. I've already put the 2-inch foam before we started rocking. That goes down and it meets the foam. When we poured these walls, it's foamed all the way to the footing on both sides of the wall. We actually used it as kind of a concrete form, or just to take up space basically in the trench, and used it as a concrete form. So that just continued up. We beveled the top of the foam so the concrete will come over. I'm actually going to be cutting this down a fuzz just so I've got a decent lip of concrete here, but the wall will come out here so that concrete floor will come in. This will actually be finished floor height here, the top of this wall, so our floor will come in. That'll taper. You won't see the foam then once the wall's in. That concrete slab will go all the way. Look, you won't even know that foam was there. The rest of this, just 2-inch foam. I mentioned in the last video, I'm using 2 different types of foam, mainly because of cost. The foam over here, this 25 by 50 area, is I'm putting heating tubes in it, but it's not really going to be a conditioned insulated. I probably won't be insulating the walls right away. It's going to be just enough heat to keep things from freezing. You know, if I park some cars or something in there, to keep everything from freezing. The rest of it is going to be insulated, heated, you know, where you can work comfortably in. So over here we're using a little higher grade foam. It's the Owens Corning, the pink board, which is a R10 foam. We're just doing 1 layer of it. Over here, this was just like a Menards house brand, let's see, Insul foam. This was an R8.8. Really, I mean, there's probably not much difference between the two. You can tell it's not as dense as the pink foam, but an R8.8 to an R10, I mean, I'm probably not even going to notice the difference. So the cost difference was the pink board at the time. I bought all this back in February. It's the end of August, almost 1st of September's a couple days, so right at the end of August. I've had all this foam sitting. The pink board was $35 a sheet with their quantity discount, and this white board was like mid-20s. So that's why I ended up going with it. I look now, I'm glad I bought it. The pink board now is pushing $65 a sheet, and this white stuff's about $35 a sheet. So I think I needed, trying to remember, I think we got 195 sheets of foam for all this, so it was a pretty good expense. And from when I initially priced all this last year, the cost difference when I bought it in February is why I had to do the 2 different types, just to kind of stay within budget, because it was a couple $1,000s difference at the time. So now it'd be outrageous. So that's why we're doing that. I don't think we're going to notice it. At least we got foam under there. So this is what we're using. It's actually a foil backed, which that really doesn't matter what we're doing. I think that's kind of pointless. We're putting the foil down. On top of that, we've got a plastic vapor barrier, or air barrier. It's not air barrier, I guess vapor barrier, you'll call it that. I've done a little bit of research on that online and YouTube. I've at first thought putting that underneath the foam, that way you're not piercing holes, but everything I've read, maybe all but like 2 people's opinions, is it is supposed to go on top of the foam. That if you put it below the foam, you're going to trap moisture in between the concrete and the foam, and it's got nowhere to go. So at least with the foam sitting right on the rock, the moisture can wick out into the rock. I'm not an engineer, so I have no idea. I was thinking you didn't want to poke holes in it. That was the point of having the plastic, but apparently with a vapor barrier, it's okay to have those little staple holes in it. They said if it was an air barrier, then that's where you worry about holes. So that's what we're gonna go with. I don't know if it's right or wrong. Tell me down in the comments what you think. I don't have too many people commenting yet, so go ahead and tell me what you think on that. This afternoon, I got maybe 2 more rows of foam to put down. I just finished grading this rock about 20 minutes ago, so hopefully we'll get that knocked out yet this afternoon. It's getting pretty hot. I'm wanting to go home. It's probably in the mid-90s right now, and heat index is a little over 100 with about 80% humidity, so it's not very pleasant out here today, especially working on top of this whiteboard. So we're gonna get it done though, because we are way behind schedule on this project. I think I was hoping to actually have the building up by now. I wanted this all done in early spring. It was the initial plan to have all my concrete done, and I'd be framing late spring, early summer, and then kind of taking the hot part of the summer off and then coming back and finishing up about now, like September. But as you can see, we're almost September 1st and we don't even have a concrete slab yet. So I think the rain, we had so much rain this year, it was ridiculous. It took forever to get these walls in, as you've seen in the previous videos. So we're a bit behind schedule here. Alright, what I'm doing now, I got this whole run in. I got the laser set up. I went to the top of the wall, which is going to be my top of floor. And over here is in this office area and the storage area is a 4-inch slab. So I went 4 inches down. Now I'm just checking to make sure that the foam is close to where it needs to be. That I have actually 4 inches, not that I got 3, like a little high spot in the rock, or I don't think I have any big low spots I got to worry about, but I want to make sure I got enough concrete coverage. I got at least 4 inches, and I got to make it helps make sure for when I go to estimate my concrete, when I know if I do the math for a 4-inch slab, that it's actually going to be close, not that the whole thing's actually 4.5 or 5, and then my concrete's a little off. So I'm just going on the end of each sheet, stepping on it so it's tight. And then, man, I'm pretty close to right on. I'm kind of floating the line right there. I mean, I'm just barely teetering. So, turn that sucker down a little bit. So we'll go on this end of the, I actually feel it rocking a little bit. I'll probably pull this sheet up. There's a little mound of rock or something under there, which I'm sure, yeah, there is. I'm sure it's fine. I'm just being a little particular about it. But once the concrete goes down, it'll push that foam and shape it to the rock. So that was a little excessive there. So back in. That was right on the money there. Can't get no better than that. We'll check this one. Right on. Did good grading the rock. Yeah. And I'm just barely floating above it there to get a tone. Right on. But that runs pretty darn good, so I'm happy with that. I'm just using a Spectra that's made by Trimble, just a rotary laser. That's a LL500. They've been around a long time. There's nothing fancy about that one. It's still the old style. I mean, it's not got the newer LEDs and whatnot in it, but it works pretty darn good. So that thing, I forgot, it's good up to, it's got a heck of a range on it, like 1,000 feet or something, I thought I read. And then down here we've just got a receiver on a grade rod. This thing telescopes out. This one goes, I'm good to stop beeping, 13 feet. I got tenths of a foot on this side, and then actually feet and inches on the other side, which I like. It's out here, I'm not dealing with grade stakes and engineer scale or anything, so it's nice just to have feet and inches versus tenths. And I can do the math in most of the time I can do it in my head, but it's easier just to do foot and inches for this kind of work. Now on this laser receiver, this area right here is what actually receives the laser. I don't know if you see that screen or not, but it'll show as I'm finding the beam. Let me turn that. It'll beep that high pitch, or lower volume. That real fast beep, that means I need to go down. And you can see this arrow right here pointing down. Let's see. Go over here where I'm a little low. You see the slower tone means I'm low and I need to come up. So you watch that arrow right there, then you get that bar right here, you know you're getting close. The nicer laser receivers, they'll actually count, and those will be like an inch, 2 inches, you know, they'll give you like a countdown almost. This one's not as fancy, so it'll just give you the tone, and we see that line flashing, you know you're getting close. And then solid tone means you're right on the money. Level, completely level. And then they've got a line here so you could transfer over to where that line actually goes. You use this, you don't actually see the beam, but it works out here in the sunlight. It's more what you use for an excavating and grading, because it can be used outside. It's not like the ones the carpenters use where it throws the visible beam. Out here, and like it's really sunny out today, you know, mostly clear, you'd have a hard time actually seeing the laser beam. So that's where these are used. This one it's an older one. You just level it up right here on the tripod. It will not spin if it's not level. So that's another thing, you know, if your beams out, or the stands out of level, it won't throw you out. It'll just stop spinning and it'll flash that it's out of level. The newer ones are nicer. You put them on the tripod and you get them, you know, where they're not sitting completely sideways, and they'll self-level. You just put them on there and they're ready to go. This one's a little older, so I actually got little thumb screws you can adjust it level with. It doesn't take long. A minute you're up and going. So you ever need something like that, that's a very handy tool. All right, we're back again. We got half of the pink foam down. That's Owens Corning, the R10 2-inch foam. That's 48 sheets. We got another bundle here I just unloaded. That should fill out the remainder there. And then we can start putting down tubing. You see over here on the white foam, this past weekend we stayed and we got all the markings for all the tubing, each circuit and going back. There we covered, I got some tubing down. That's what you saw me put down before. Keep the sun off of it. I did learn, you read on there, it doesn't say it on the package, but it says on their website that PEX B PEX is not UV rated, so it's not meant to sit in the sunlight. So seeing that the sun beats on it, and on top of that white foam, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cover this whole floor until the concrete's poured. I got some rolls of black plastic. Once the tubing's all down, or as we're putting it down, I should say, at the end of the day, if it sits during the week, we'll cover this whole floor with black plastic. It kind of sucks having to do that, but not much you can do. I don't want to ruin that tubing. We got a lot of money invested in the foam and just the radiant heat in general, so we want to take care of that tubing. A couple rolls of plastic ain't the end of the world. We'll use it up somewhere. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get this bundle cut up, and my wife's supposed to be out here yet this evening, and hopefully we can get the rest of this covered up. And this weekend coming up, it's Thursday night now. This weekend's Labor Day weekend. Hopefully we can start really knocking out some of that tubing. So I'll get this foam shook out, and then we'll bring you back when we start laying it.